Hey, what's up, Tampa Bay? This is TB3, episode 63, coming at you with another tough weekend. Maybe a weekend that will live in infamy for Tampa Bay sports. It's hard to talk about this stuff.
And Florida sports. Florida sports,
Yeah,
man. That was
Florida in
crazy.
general. Football, we are no longer the kings. We've been dethroned.
Well, everyone's taking all our players and using them against us.
That's
what's
true.
That's what's happening in football. But yeah, Florida FCS, FBS, and NFL teams were a combined 1-11 this week. So you know what I did? I shaved my beard so the Bucs would stop losing. I did it. So if you're on Spotify and not on YouTube, and you're like, "What is this guy talking about?" You're just gonna have to believe me, or go to YouTube and check it out. But yeah, tough week, man. Tough week.
Very tough. About your beard, man. I mean, superstitions I think are real. To do different things to help your team win. I'm trying to think if I've done anything, but I guess if you're listening right now, let us know anything crazy you have done in the past or currently do to give good vibes for your team.
That's a
because
good one.
I personally believe it.
Oh, dude. So I'll say my favorite story, just so we're clear, the beard, the superstition part of it, but it's not the whole reason for why I shaved my beard. That would have been a little crazy, but maybe not. Whatever. We don't judge here, but my favorite one I ever did was back in the day, Florida football, 2012. Mike Gillislee wore 23. And we put the volume on the TV on 23, and he went off. He went crazy. 23, and the Gators won. And I think they beat LSU, and they had Tyrann Mathieu and Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. Crazy game. So that's my favorite in my memory.
That's a good one. At least last year, for me, I started wearing Seminole socks.
Okay.
I started wearing the same socks on Saturdays, and they won for the longest time.
That's a good one.
That was one. I think for me, like the Bucs, I'm never buying a jersey again during the season because I bought a Brady jersey because I was like, I'm running out of time. I bought a Brady jersey the week before the playoffs 2022.
Oof.
And they lose.
Yeesh.
And then I bought a Baker jersey for the playoff game against the Eagles, and they won, but they lost the next week.
That's hard. That's a hard one.
So I'm thinking no jerseys during the regular season.
Save it for the offseason.
Save it for the offseason.
All right. I like it. Yeah. I mean, speaking of superstitions, I don't know if superstitions can help this Buccaneers team right now because they're on a 4-game losing streak, and it's tough to see. It's tough to watch, but we're going to talk about it, and we're getting into it right now, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, we have to talk about it. Man, I guess let's just get into it. Sunny afternoon day, Tampa Bay. Tom Brady's back in town. He's on the call. A very, very good opponent comes into town, the San Francisco 49ers. Toe hits leather, as they say. 49ers get the ball first and get a little bit of a drive going, but the Bucs are able to force a punt. What would the Bucs do with their first drive of the game? They would also punt the ball. And after that, the 49ers would strike first, going 6 plays, 71 yards, and a touchdown. That would be to Ricky Pearsall, 46 yards, Florida Gator legend.
Many men.
And the Bucs would have a chance to answer the bell. What would they do? They would punt the ball. The 49ers then would have a killer drive, 14 plays, 77 yards, 8 minutes a clock, but the Bucs were able to lock it down and only force 3 there. The Bucs would answer back a little bit, get a long drive of their own, 7 minutes, 13 plays, 58 yards, but they could only get 3. 49ers would try to add more at the end of the first half, but would miss a field goal. That would be one of 3 that Jake Moody would miss that day. Bucs trying to get something going. Honestly, they didn't have a whole lot of time. They had about 25 seconds at the end of the half there, but they would have to punt it right back. Then start the second half. Bucs hit the ball. Can they do something? No, they would not. They would have to punt. But on that ensuing punt, Tavier Thomas, name we haven't heard in a while.
He's been good on special teams.
He's been a special teams dog. Yeah. He's really earned his keep there. He would pile drive somebody right into the receiver there. He would muff the punt. Bucs get it back, and in 4 plays, it would be to Who was it who scored
It was
there?
Rashad White,
It was
right?
Rashad White. It was a nice little screen pass to Rashad
that was a
White.
nice play, man. I really like that one.
Yeah, I did. The Bucs used they screened a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Some were successful, some weren't. We'll get into it. But yeah, the Bucs all of a sudden tied the game. The 49ers would answer back another 7-minute drive, but it would only result in 3. The Bucs get another touchdown to take the lead 17-13, and we're feeling good now. 49ers on their next drive, they miss another field goal. But this is where it gets tough. Bucs have a chance to put it away, but go 3 and out. Then the 49ers would get a touchdown late, 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter to take the lead 20-17. Bucs would try to answer back, but go 3 and out again. 49ers get the ball with 4 minutes and 57 seconds left in the fourth quarter to try to put the game away themselves and would get into field goal range, but it would be the third missed kick for Moody. Then the long snapper gets choked by Deebo Samuel on the sideline. Bucs now. They got 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They're down by 3. Baker Mayfield makes some incredible plays on this drive. Maybe the play of the year. Maybe a top 10 play, top 5 play in Bucs history.
It was amazing.
Amazing play to keep the drive going. But they get to first and goal at the 8-yard line of San Francisco with 59 seconds left in the game and can only come up with 3 points. Then 41 seconds left. It's a 2-minute drill for the 49ers, and Jake Moody wasn't going to miss this time. He nails the game winner. The 49ers win 23-20.
Before we get into the game, we got to talk about this Baker Mayfield play because let's be happy going into it because that was one of the most incredible plays I've seen on a football field. To stiff arm Nick Bosa, not only Nick Bosa but Nick Bosa on an election week after his specific candidate won the election was pretty incredible. And a lot of people they're making little jokes about how Nick Bosa doesn't want to tackle a white quarterback, but let's go back. To college, Oklahoma versus Ohio State. Baker Mayfield, he plants the flag in the middle of the Ohio State Buckeyes field after a win from his Oklahoma Sooners against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Later on in the career, Nick Bosa with the 49ers, Baker Mayfield is with the Browns. Nick Bosa does the flag planting celebration when he sacks Baker Mayfield. So I don't think there's many people in the league that Nick Bosa wanted to sack, especially in a crucial situation, more than Baker Mayfield. And for him to just hold him off like he was a little child and throw a beautiful ball. I know it was a little wobbler, but beautiful location for a first down. Was one of the most incredible plays I've ever seen.
Yeah, I just want to know what was Bosa doing there? Because to me,
Baker's sneaky strong, man.
Maybe he's sneaky strong, but it really didn't look like Bosa was. I mean, you have hold of his arm. Maybe he's trying to push him out of bounds, but you think, Bosa's strong. You think he could maybe tug him down. I mean, there's no.
Maybe he was worried about getting a horse collar in that situation.
Maybe, but it's his arm.
Getting the face mask. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think he misplayed that a lot.
For sure.
I mean, not taking anything away from the play because it was incredible, but I really want to know the thought process there, and I don't know if any media asked him after the game, but yeah, regardless.
It was a crazy play. And honestly, it sucks because Baker Mayfield made that incredible play, but he missed some throws on that drive. He really did miss some throws. And, yeah, should we start on offense?
Yeah.
Let's start on offense because I think you look at this game, and I think out of the Bucs' 4-game losing streak, I think this one is probably the one where you could put it on offense the most. Defense had their problems. We'll get to that. But offensively, I think this was the first game where you really felt like, man, we don't have Mike Evans, we don't have Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I agree. I don't remember exactly where we got in the game. I think it might have been the fourth quarter that up until that point, receivers on the Bucs had combined 28 yards or something for the entire game. So yeah, you definitely felt not having a solid receiver.
They only had 28 receiving yards for the whole.
So that was the whole game. They didn't even get it.
Yep.
Because I guess there were so many drops on that last drive too. I think most of the passes went to Cade Otton.
And
then
Rashad,
you think
he missed Sterling Shepard on that outbreaking route, which could have been a really big gain.
Raheem Jarrett for the win, obviously, or for the lead. That was
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
it was
And
kind of a forced ball. I guess. He was under pressure. But yeah, you think too with that
he could have
last
caught that
drive.
ball, though. You're right.
I mean, 3 15-yard penalties in a row.
Yep.
Two face masks and hands to the face. Then there was a holding that would have given the Bucs a first down anyway on that Baker throw.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really frustrating. The offense had all these opportunities to, put the Bucs ahead, give them a commanding lead. I mean, I look back in the fourth quarter, the Bucs are up 17-13. Jake Moody misses his second field goal of the game, if I'm not mistaken. And the Bucs have a chance to, go up 2 scores or at least make it a 7-point lead where you can't lose it. And they go 3 and out. They have a play. I think that was the drive where they tried that little sneaky double handoff to Bucky Irving, and players collided and he got blown up. It was just, it's unfortunate to go 3 and out, and I think there was just too many key situations where his offense just wasn't getting going. I mean, I look, Baker Mayfield, he only had 116 yards passing. I mean, that's by far his worst game. No turnovers for the Bucs, but the explosive plays weren't there. And your defense, they hung in there. Maybe it's because of missed field goals, but the defense hung in there, and the offense just wasn't able to capitalize.
Yeah, I think, I've just seen too much on Twitter. I've seen too much blame being shifted in the wrong places, and believe me, there's plenty of blame to go around throughout the whole team. But you just look at the first half, doing absolutely nothing. When the defense, holding somebody like the 49ers, who just got McCaffrey back, hold them to 10 points in the first half, you got to take advantage of that. And you have that long drive, and to only go away with 3 there was super disappointing. Nothing after that. And then, again, times in the second half. You go and you score twice, and then on your next 2 drives to put that game away.
Yeah.
To put that game away, you didn't. And, I mean, you look at it, 3 plays, 4 yards.
Exactly. That's the drive I'm talking about, the 3 plays.
Yeah.
That was – yeah.
Well, then there's a 3 plays negative 13.
Wow. That's just – it can't happen. It can't happen. You need your offense to come up in crucial moments, and there has been moments during the season. I look at Lions. This is more early on. Lions, Falcons, at the Thursday Night Football game. And on this one where the offense could have put the game away, the defense got the clutch stop, and they didn't. And that really came back to bite the Bucs. Like we said, I mean, 28 receiving yards from your receivers. It's just not good enough. The Niners were able to kind of just play man-to-man, play tight, and blitz Baker, and there's nothing really the Bucs could do because the receivers weren't getting open. Trey Palmer didn't have any catches. I know he's been banged up, so that it seemed like he's banged up because he's been playing really well ever since Mike and Chris came out. Jalen McMillan, nothing on the stat sheet. I think
he got a snap.
I thought he was active, but I didn't see him at all. He might have.
I want to say he was active, but I don't think he got on the field.
I mean, Raheem Jarrett, a couple catches. Ryan Miller, and there's a couple drops in there. You mentioned the Raheem Jarrett one. There was a play.
K-Dot had a couple.
Yeah, there was a play to Ryan Miller where it was like if that was a different receiver, maybe we're thinking touchdown there. Just that, and you combine it with this was most definitely Baker's worst game. He made the heroic play, but he missed a lot of throws. 18 for 29. He's only sacked twice. I mean, he had the time. There wasn't much open, but he didn't really make stuff happen. I think the toe injury kind of hurt some of his mobility, which kind of took away the chance for big plays. And this was just kind of this was my least favorite type of NFL game. I'll be honest. The ones where it's just the really slow, methodical drives. The game was very, very short. There was big drives from both teams, and the Bucs in those games just gotta make the little plays happen. They did on offense.
Yeah, and you can attribute that to injuries, but at the end of the day, you still gotta make those plays happen. Like I just look at, I'm not sure if they ended up scoring, but there was a play where Baker Mayfield does that little spin move.
That was a Ryan Miller play, right?
And it was a Ryan Miller play. He puts the ball in the money there. That's
it's
6.
A touchdown, yeah.
You can argue, somebody got whoever was defending him got there a little early, but at the end of the day, Baker puts that on the money. That's a touchdown.
You could also argue that if that's Mike Evans, it's a touchdown because he goes up and gets it.
That's true.
And it's both ways. And I agree. Baker missed that throw. He for sure missed that throw. But again, you have the elite playmakers that are just on your injured reserve right now. It's a different story.
Uh-huh.
So it's unfortunate. I think If we're going to look at positives, Bucky Irving, that was, a fantastic game from Bucky. You got people chanting his name in Raymond James Stadium. I think he's going to be a fan favorite for a long time here in the Bay. 13 carries, 73 yards, and a rushing touchdown. He also got on the board with some receptions. And, right now on the season, he has 492 yards rushing, 5.1 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns, and he also has 188 yards receiving. This dude, he's second out of all rookies in rushing yards. And he's not even the main back. He's been so fantastic. I can't say enough about Bucky Irving.
Yeah, he's certainly fun to watch, and he brings a different level of intensity there, and it's something they need. And again, just use him sparingly still. Like I know everybody wants to give him the ball 100 times a game, but you gotta be a little careful with that. We don't want to see him get injured, especially. And I think the more fresh he is, the more powerful he is as a runner. Trucks guys and is able to be more elusive. So again, a lot of people argue, and then too, like putting them in there's talk about putting them in the goal line there at the end of the game.
I would agree, but I heard Todd Bowles say it. Like, the play was blown up. Graham Barton got absolutely whipped at the line. Don't know. Bucky might have made that guy miss. It was holding anyways, so they probably would have called it if that guy hadn't gotten tackled. Bucky probably would have made that guy miss. Maybe. He might have. Not probably. He could have made that guy miss. He's a little bit more elusive in the backfield than Rashad. I think, objectively, Bucky should have been in there. But, again, you put in Rachaad White, you might have that element of surprise. Rachaad White had a good run to get you down there. I just wasn't a fan of the play call. Straight I formation, single back. I didn't like that play call at all.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of ridiculous to run it right up the middle there. But I also think, that's somebody who did not have a great game is Graham Barton, and he got blown up there. But multiple times throughout the game, he was getting beat in the pass rush. He couldn't get down to make blocks. Like, I think, too, the Bucs were using a lot of screens, and some of them were effective. But I think the one that stalled their drive and resulted in 3 in the first half, he was not able to get to that linebacker that screen.
Was that a K. Dotton screen? Or was that?
I believe it was another Bucky Irving one.
Okay.
It was their driver that got the field goal in the first half. And he just gets blown up because Graham Barton couldn't get out there to make a block. So I know he's a rookie, but he definitely had a tough game. I think the offensive line, without Tristan Wirfs, definitely struggled a lot more.
True, but I actually got to give some props to Justin School. I think he came in there and played a heck of a game. I think for the most part he was – you got Nick Bosa, and they were sending Nick Bosa to the Justin School side pretty much every single time, and he did a pretty darn good job. I got to give a lot of props to him. Short notice, Tristan Wirfs goes out. That's your franchise offensive lineman. We got good news that it's only a sprained MCL, so he should be able to avoid injury reserve. Might be back in the next game or two. So that's great news for Tristan Wirfs, but a very admirable effort, in my opinion, for Justin School. But obviously, without Wirfs, that's a loss. Almost any person could replace Tristan Wirfs, and it's a downgrade offensive line-wise in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, that sucked. It was kind of just like, it's felt like all our teams are cursed the last month or so. It's just, with the Bucs, it's just what else can go wrong. I think the way they've found ways to lose games has just been jarring. I was scared to go to overtime, and I didn't have to worry about that because they allowed a 40-second drive to get in the field goal range. And you look at both Falcons games, you look at the overtimes games. Just tough stuff. It's been a really rough stretch for the Buccaneers. Even this 4-game losing streak, even going back to being 1-5 in their last 6 games.
Yeah. It feels like nothing can go right. It feels like salt on the wound at this point. But despite what a lot of people will tell you, despite if you go on Twitter, sky's falling, you listen to the radio, it's just about the same. But I'm here to tell you I'm still optimistic. I still have hope. And, this is just about where I thought the team would be. I had them at 5-5. You can go back to the episode where we talk about the schedule. Before we get to the defense here, I'll just go on a tangent because you kind of segued into it. But yeah, you go back to the episode we're talking about the schedule here, and I said it was going to be tough. A lot of first-place teams from last year, a lot of playoff teams. You were probably coming out at 500. Now, I think you add a lot of those guys who are injured back in some of these games, and I think they find ways to win. And you even look at as decimated as they are, probably should have won a couple of these games. You should have beat the Falcons at least once, if not twice. If we had a camera on the sideline, maybe.
They've had a pylon cannon at every other football game I've watched since
Yeah, and
then,
all of a
by the
sudden
way.
they don't.
That was
They have
shocking.
them in the pylon.
Yeah, they have them at the first down marker. It's whatever.
But yeah, I'm not even close to giving up on this team. And the schedule gets a whole lot easier. Some guys are going to get healthier. Mike's back. That's a big bonus. 13's back, as Baker said. And you could tell in his voice in the post game he was pretty fired up about it. You know, obviously he understands they need him. But yeah, I'm not ready to give up. It's been tough, but I'm cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, it's the Bucs have struggled, and it's been a struggle. I fear that they might have put themselves in too big of a hole. Is my only thing with that. I think the Bucs will, at least finish the season at a minimum with a winning record. I don't see them going worse than 5-2 to remain, but I don't also see them getting in with 9-8 this year. I just don't. Last year, you could say that this is the same thing that they did last year, which is true, and it probably will be a similar, story to last year's team. But last year, the Falcons weren't this good, and the Falcons right now, I mean, we squandered a golden opportunity to get a game back on them with a, they got Rizzi, Darren Rizzi got his first win as a coach against the Falcons at home, Superdome. That's not a game the Falcons should lose, and we had the opportunity to get that game back, and we just, at the end of the day, we weren't able to finish that drive. Weren't able to finish the game against Kansas City, however you want to say it, what decision or whatever. You weren't able to finish that game. You have the ball against the Falcons in Atlanta. Bucky Irving fumbles that drive before, and you have the ball only needing a first down to win the game, and you don't do it against Atlanta. The Bucs have to finish games, and I just fear for the future of this team that this lack of being able to finish games might come back to bite them, even in some games where they might get upset in. Is my fear right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I somewhat agree with you. I think they have a huge problem finishing games, and that's both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Both sides of the ball. But I just look at Atlanta. I look at Kirk Cousins. Yeah, you might not win the division at this point just because of mathematics and all that stuff, wins and head to head and all that points for differential. You might not, but Atlanta still loses stupid games. They still lose stupid games, and there's still a chance you could win out, run the table, maybe even suffer a loss or two, and you might be right there with them. Because I certainly think Atlanta, led by Kirk Cousins, if I've watched NFL my whole life, if I've seen this guy struggle year in and year out, they're going to lose some games.
Yeah, and I just look at I fear that 3 games because of the tiebreaker is too much. So right now I will look at the wild card, and the final wild card in the NFC is the Packers at 6-3. We do know that the Packers will be playing in that gauntlet of the NFC South. They still have a game against the Lions, still have one against the Vikings, if not 2. I think it's just 1. Still got, I think, 2 against the Bears. Bears have fallen off recently, but still a solid team with a lot of talent. So that NFC South, you got to think that they're going to kind of beat up on each other. Then you got Commanders at 6. They're 7-3, but we still don't know if they're proven or not. And I mean, they still got to play the Eagles. They still got to worry about the division. And then, I mean, in front of the Bucs in the hunt, Bears, like we said, will kind of maybe knock each other out. Then you have 3.
They've imploded. They're done.
Yeah, they've imploded. And then you have 3 NFC West teams that are all 49ers are 5-4, and the Rams and Seahawks are 4-5, and then the Cardinals are 6-4, I think. Is that correct? Yes, 6-4. So the NFC West is a mess.
Yeah, they're going to beat each other up too much.
They're going to beat each other up. So there is, at least we know that we have an easy schedule. The Bucs, they might need some stuff to going on, but there's going to be a lot of chaos going around with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think that, when you look at just how this season goes, if the Bucs finish with double-digit wins, you got to feel good about their situation. But on the flip side, there is a possibility where you finish 10-7, you don't make it, and you can go back to these early season games, and that's what's going to hold them out. And that's my worry. That's my worry. I mean, ideally, you should win all 7 of these games. You should,
Yeah.
but that's a tall task.
I'm thinking 10-7 gets you in.
It'll be
I'm
tight,
pretty confident that 10-7 will get you in.
but you can't do 9-8. That's not going to get you in.
9-8, no.
Nope. Yeah. As we wrap up offense, just to give you guys some PFF grades, that is Pro Football Focus. It's a grade of everything you do on the football field. For offense, number 1 was Tristan Wirfs before he went down. Number 2 was Bucky Irving. They were both in the 70s. Then not a great game for offense, like we mentioned. Number 3, Rachaad White, 68.4. Justin Skula, 65.5. And then Payne Durham, a 65.4. So not a great. And then bottom 4 was all, I don't know, bro. Yeah, he was out. He blocks, bro. They put him in a lot to block. And bottom 5, Shepard, Jarrett, Brederson, Palmer, and Miller. Just struggling a lot. So, it is what it is, and I think we can move on to this Bucs defense, which is a mixed bag, I'd say. A mixed bag. I don't know, what are your thoughts initially on this Bucs defense?
I watched that game live. I rewatched that game multiple times. And I just think, again, I'm getting sick of it to this point. I said it a couple weeks ago, and, I'm sorry if that offended you. Anybody listening, I said, is it racism at this point? Because I really just think that this guy's going to get blamed either way. At this point, it doesn't matter. If the Bucs lose, he's going to get blamed for what he did do or what he didn't do. And if it's the opposite way around, he's going to get blamed for it. And, there's stuff that he deserves to get blamed for. You look at the Ravens game. You look at the Falcons not being able to stop these guys, especially if they're playing them so close together. You probably didn't even play him. You played him probably worse the second time. So there's things like that. There's things you can blame him for. But just some of the little things grinds my gears. And after watching it a couple times, it's like, what more could you ask for? What more could you ask for? I know there's some missed field goals in there, this and that. But the 49ers... high-powered offense, Kyle Shanahan. This team is good year in and year out. They have the best running back in the NFL. They got a young, sensational rookie, not rookie, now like a 3-year guy. He can put up numbers. He can beat you with his arm. He's successful over the middle. He's good at being patient and finding the right guys. I know they have Ayuk who's injured, but you got Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall's turning up. I hate to say it. He is. George Kittle, arguably one of the best tight ends in the game. Mm-hmm. You hold that team to 23 points at home. I'm sorry. You got to come away with the win, but what more can you ask for from a defense? Especially when you hold that team 10 points in the first half. You could have built a huge lead there, but you didn't. You came away with 3. And then get multiple stops in the second half when you had the chance to build on your lead, and you didn't do it. So, that's just really my thing. What more could you ask for? Yeah, there's some stuff. There might be some schematics. I'll get into that too because I really don't think, when we look at it from the meat and potatoes, that you really can't do much better. But, I'm sorry, what more as a fan can you ask for? 23 points. You should win the game. That's really not that bad. That's by far not the worst defense I've seen from this team. Definitely wasn't the worst performance. It definitely isn't the worst Bucs defense I've seen. I've seen a lot worse. And I think too many of us have a 4-year memory. We see Brady, then we see Baker, Bulls. That's it. There's a huge history, a 40-year history of Tampa Bay football. And they've been bad. And this defense isn't even close to some of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that... This was your case of bend don't break. This was kind of like what we saw in that Lions game, where that's when the defense was playing better. I think it was definitely not to the level of what the Lions game was, but it was pretty darn good. I do think you have to think about the missed field goals. That would have been another 30-point game, if he makes those field goals. And they weren't chip shots, they weren't gimmies. A couple of them were 50-plus yards. So you can't say those are automatic. I mean, NFL kickers make those very frequently, but it's not automatic. And I think the Bucs did a good job of, stopping, the 49ers once they got inside the 40, which is an important thing in NFL. That's kind of what you look for in an NFL defense is can you stop, your team. You can bend, but you can't break. I think they did that, and I'm with Will. I think the offense was, a key factor in this game being lost. I really do. I don't think that you can look at the defense, but you can't look at the defense and call them blameless. I think the multiple really, really long drives, it hurt, and I think just it's definitely the third down defense, especially getting the third and long this game, which was frustrating. Earlier, and I mean, this is something you've mentioned, Will, is, the third and medium, the third and short, those are the easier third down conversions. And the Bucs did a pretty good job on early downs, I would say, to get the 49ers to 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10, stuff like that. But there was too many times where Brock Purdy was able to find people over the middle. And it's kind of the same theme, man. The middle is like a trailer park for the other teams, and they can just sell crack on it, or I don't know what I just said, but it's something like that. It's free game over the middle. I saw J.J. Russell in there. I saw K.J. Britt. It didn't make a difference. It's just the second linebacker spot without Servache Dennis, who by far, you can quote me on this, Servache Dennis has been the biggest injured player for the Bucs all year. It hasn't been Chris Godwin, has not been Mike Evans, has not been Jamel Dean. It was Servache Dennis. Was the biggest injury for the Bucs this year. And, yeah.
I completely agree. In fact, I was going to bring up the same thing. I think, I think too often, especially in the media, too often we've used the injuries for the Bucs on offense as an excuse. And, I get it. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, that's huge blows. But when you look at the defense, you haven't really had the week one starters, the game against the Commanders. You haven't had all those guys out on the field at once. And every other week, somebody's down, somebody's not able to play.
Playing hurt.
And then, we're getting into depth guys. We're getting into guys who don't even start and are getting hurt. And, I just think, with the linebackers, you bring that up. We don't have anybody else. Dennis is down. That's a huge blow. He's very good in the pass game, and when he was in this year, he balled out. And we told you that. We told you that on this show. That was one of the biggest steals of the draft last year. And then you look at K.J. Britt. He struggles mightily. Well, you put in J.J. Russell, it's not that much better. I mean, who do you want at this point? Vi Jones? That's it.
Yeah, it's not.
If you're going to blame anybody, blame Jason Light. Yeah. We didn't do anything in the trade deadline. Not a single thing. Yeah. Haven't picked up any free agents. I know the Seahawks just released a linebacker today.
Dolphins.
Has an exceptional. He signed already?
Dolphins.
The Dolphins got him.
Yep.
Yeah, well, he's been a free agent for a day.
Yeah.
Didn't get him.
Yeah.
Had a phenomenal pass defense grade. Didn't do anything. I look back all the way to camp, and I remember Todd Bowles saying, we have a depth issue. The starters are fine, but we have a very bad depth issue, and now you're seeing it. Yeah, you can argue, well, he's got to get he's got to put his players in the best situations. Well, I think he's been trying. I think he's honest to goodness, he's been trying. But at some point, your four stringers aren't going to get it done. It's exceptionally bad in the secondary. You don't have Jamel Dean. He's been gone. Christian Izzian has been in and out. I know he played on Sunday. Zion McCollum goes out in this game. Bryce Hall. You guys remember Bryce Hall?
Yep.
That was one of our big signings. Got hurt week 1.
Cornerback 3. He was your depth corner.
Yeah, he was your depth corner. I mean, Tyke Smith out as well. Another guy.
Yeah.
Your nickel.
We're on cornerback 5 and 6.
Yeah. I mean, what do you expect? Everybody's going soft zone. I hate the soft zone. Do you want Thunderbuck and Keenan Isaac and Josh Hayes going man on man?
I gotta say, Josh Hayes has played pretty darn well.
He played a lot better in this game. But he still made a lot of mistakes.
He does, and it's good and bad. But I've liked the way Josh Hayes has played since he got put in the starting lineup. I will say my only quarrel with Todd Bowles with the soft zone is the final drive. The 45 seconds. You basically gave him 30 yards. And I hate to say that, and I get there's a part, and you send the blitz, and you want the blitz to get home. But it's pretty easy for Brock Purdy to understand that he has a hitch route with a blitz coming on outside receivers. Like it was pretty readable, and I think that's my only quarrel with Todd Bowles is I think that final drive was mismanaged defensively.
Yeah, and that's fair, but I want to say if it was either the drive that got him to the missed field goal or the game-winning drive, one of them, Kayvon Merriweather's in man. Like, they're not in the soft zone all the time, they're in man, and they just get burnt to a crisp.
Yeah, they did a better job in the second half, I'll say, of playing tighter man. I look back at, like, there was definitely instances where the Bucs just got burnt in man. Like that one play, Brock Purdy's off his back foot. He just chucks it up to Christian McCaffrey, and Levante Davis gets cooked.
Levante's, he was in man.
And then there was it was pretty man-to-man on that Kittle touchdown. That drive was baloney call on Kalijah Kancey, personal foul on the sideline. Baloney call. But just horrible. Brock Purdy is tiptoeing, and Kalijah Kancey he holds up. He doesn't finish his tackle. That was baloney. I thought it was and it extended the drive.
That's a point I would like to say too. Is it's hard to. I don't like using penalties as an excuse, but you look back at this game, both touchdown drives for the 49ers were extended off of penalties. There was a Josh Hayes holding on 3rd and 7, and the 49ers didn't get it.
That was holding.
And then there's a penalty on Kancey there that extends that drive.
That was bull.
You look at that, take away those penalties, maybe they don't score. Maybe they don't come away with it. Because obviously Brock Purdy, he threw it away there. I think he threw it way out of bounds. It would have been 3rd and 10.
Yeah. No, he stepped out of bounds. They said he stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, he stepped out of bounds.
It would have been a sack.
Yeah.
It would have been 3rd and 15.
And then you think probably they're not getting it.
Yeah.
And it would have led to the Kittle touchdown.
So frustrating.
Just a couple plays here and there.
Yeah, I mean, any players positively that stuck out defensively? I want to say Jordan Whitehead, good game for him.
Tackling issues, though.
Yeah, tackling for sure. 12 tackles for him. Kalijah Kancey, a sack and a tackle for loss.
Kancey played a really good game.
He has emerged the last 2 weeks. He was non-existent before that, but he has emerged the last couple weeks. He had two
I'd say actually
Chiefs.
Josh Hayes played pretty good.
I got nothing but love for Josh Hayes. You want some grades?
Yeah, I think I saw. I was kind of surprised at him.
Yeah, it was Diaby was number 1, 73.9. PFF loves Yaya Diaby
because he gets pressures.
Yeah,
but at some point you got to get home, son.
Yeah,
you got to get home.
Whitehead 72.8.
That surprised me.
Britt 71.2.
That also surprised me.
That is surprising
because he was like any big run the 49ers had. He was nowhere to be found filling his gap.
Britt or Whitehead?
Britt.
Kancey 70.4. Eisen 70.3. McCollum was at a 30.9 grade. Winfield,
which is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Winfield again in the 40s. I think it's pretty apparent that
he's been playing terrible.
He's playing hurt. I think there's no doubt about it. He's playing hurt because it's just not the Antoine Winfield I know and love. Greg Gaines, Russell, Nelson. We got Anthony Nelson in pass coverage against one-on-one against Christian McCaffrey that one play. That made me mad.
JTS with it was, a disguised blitz, and then JTS goes out in pass coverage. I saw that. I hate that. I said that a while ago.
Bad.
It's stupid.
You're
not going to trick people. You're not going to trick them.
Well, it's like not even like you can't even trick them because it's just like, well, if they're so bad, the quarterback can just throw it out there and it makes a good throw. Yeah. It's dumb. It's dumb. Yeah, I think Bucs defense. Like if I was to grade these games, I would say I'd give the Bucs defense like a C+ and the offense like a D+.
I mean, if I'm giving grades, I'm giving the defense a B-.
Yeah, I'm on the board of that.
I really think, again, like, what do you want as a fan? Because I'm serious, it's a big problem. Like we're talking about firing Bowles already, talking about the season's over, talking about the worst defense we've ever seen. What do you want? I know you want to win. So does everybody else. But the news flash. NFL, you don't go undefeated. It's happened twice in a season. And you don't shut out teams every week. Like, you're going to give up points. And 23 is nothing to frown upon. Especially when your offense is supposed to average about 30 a game. They're, 5th in scoring?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that.
What more can you ask for?
My only caveat is the missed field goals. They definitely got bailed out. The Bucs should have won that game. Bucs found a way to lose that one. The 49ers tried to give it to him. The Bucs gave it right back. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, and again, like you go back to it. You had the game won. First and goal at the 8.
Yeah, just
59 seconds left. That should be a win. That should be a touchdown. And here's the thing, too, that just gets me riled up. Is people were complaining that we were trying to bleed clock there.
You guys scored a touchdown. Different situation. I know what you're going at. The bleed clock and as opposed to
the Chiefs. The
Chiefs. I will say I did complain about that time management. I think they should have run about 5-10 more seconds off before he called the timeout against the Chiefs. But I agree. You cannot, and I don't think they really were. It was just a bad play call. That's on Liam Cohen. That's on Liam Cohen. That's a bad play call. I think this was Liam Cohen. He tried to get tricky. He was working with what he got, and he's done a good job. But this was one of Liam Cohen's weaker games, I'll say.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, just Bucs head into a bye week, a much needed one. As we look for the rest of the year, it looks like Mike Evans and Jamel Dean will both be back after the bye week, coming off of injured reserve for both of them. That will be very massive for the Bucs, team as a whole. 4-6. You got to go 6-1 to be 10-7. You got to go 7-0 to be 11-6, and you got to go 5-2 to be 9-8.
You want to go through their opponents?
Yeah, it's
because
just,
I want to give.
We did it last week, but we'll do it again,
Yeah.
man. It's very. The Bucs have one of the most front-loaded schedules ever. They by far, not even close, have the easiest remaining schedule out of any NFL team. They start off to the bye week. They head to New York to play the Giants. Then they go to Carolina against the Panthers. Then they play the Raiders at home. Then they go to L.A. for their only game against the team with a winning record at the Chargers. Go to play at the Cowboys. Again, Sunday Night Football, but that thing is going to get flexed. I can almost guarantee it.
Super rush.
Panthers at home. Saints at home. I mean, objectively, there should be no losses on that schedule.
There shouldn't.
There shouldn't.
Maybe the Panthers. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bryce Young might be
I
the
understand it now. But the Bucs just have to. You got to start it off after the bye week with a convincing win against the Giants. Get the good vibes rolling. Get your players back, and just keep winning game by game. I've seen this team do it. We saw them do it last year, and this is a better team than they were last year. Even if they finish with the same record, this is a better team than they were last year. And I could tell you that by watching them. They just had the injuries, had the unfortunate situations. This team can go on a better win streak than the team last year did. No reason not to.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's we don't have any game to preview, but just understand that the Bucs still have it pretty much in front of them. They're in a hole, but they have the shovel that can dig them out of the hole. Will they use the shovel?
They're gonna, I believe.
All right, there we go. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We could talk about the lone Lightning game of the year or of the week. Lightning.
What game?
The Lightning are on a 4-game losing streak, and they picked up a point, but it was still a loss against the Philadelphia Flyers. They had a 1-0 game for the majority of this game until about 4 minutes left. Tippett on the Flyers would score a game-tying goal, and then the Lightning decided to shoot Gabe Goncalves. I really don't even know who that is. I'll be honest with you guys. Sorry. First, and then Victor Hedman when they have Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point in their back pocket. Braden Point didn't play, I don't think. But they had Kucherov in their back pocket. So some puzzling shootout decisions from John Cooper. Puzzling game. Offense has been sputtering for the Tampa Bay Lightning. You look back, 1 goal against the Flyers, 2 against the Blues, 3 against the Wild, 4 against the Jets, but still. But the offense has been sputtering for sure. I don't know. Any thoughts on the Lightning?
Yeah, well, just because I know it was with the Blues, but just to confirm here with the Flyers, where'd it go? Oh, we're November now. I think a big issue is let's see, getting outshot.
Yeah,
getting outshot. That's something big. You're not creating enough scoring opportunities. I think that's the biggest problem. And turn the puck over. Lightning by no means are the worst at turning it over, but it's getting a little bit concerning. Sloppy plays between your zone and stuff like that. I think that just leads to bad hockey, and we've seen it last year. A lot of turnovers defensively in their own zone, which led to some goals. I think we're seeing more sloppy play again. And yeah, like I've said, we need some more guys to step up.
29 giveaways for the Lightning against the Flyers.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
that's pretty pitiful, and you can't let that happen. And guys got to step up and create more scoring opportunities. You can't just rely on Kucherov game in and game out. You look at that game, it was 1-0, and you blow it there with 4 minutes left, losing overtime. Are we back to being cursed?
I don't know, man. Everything's cursed right now for us as TB3.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I was going to say I wasn't here last week, but I just knew you guys were filming, so they'd lose.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, that was the Wild game, I think. Or
I think it was Blues, wasn't it?
It was Blues. It was Blues, and they were and we could have told you that we were filming and they lose.
And because I have a thing with Biddington, I call him out like the first Lightning episode, and I don't know if the Lightning have beaten them. I truly don't know. So
2019 Stanley Cup legend, but that's all he really does.
Yeah.
And it's just I'd like to see some more production from the second line. Brandon Hagel, Sorelli, those guys have been pretty quiet recently. So I think, the top line's done good, Gensel, Point, and Kucherov. But the second and even the third line, Nick Paul, Mitchell Chafee's been getting in the scoring action, which has been nice to see. But those guys have to be a little bit better. So I'd like to see second and third line, improve. I think the scrappy guys down low have been good. The defensemen have been really good. In my opinion, I just think second and third line got to see some more production from these guys.
Yeah, completely agree. And this loss stings too. The Flyers star-studded rookie, what's his name? Matvei Michkov wasn't even playing. Still weren't able to capitalize. He's been super fun to watch, highlight reel type player, and to not be able to capitalize on that when one of their best players is out, it's sad too.
Yeah, it's just it's frustrating losses. The Lightning are now on a 4-game losing streak, and they got their little bye week.
Yeah, they had some time off.
Yeah, so
that game was what, Thursday?
Yeah, they had a full week off. Is what Joel was saying, that each team gets sprinkled in. I think 2 weeks off per the NHL season. So that's like an interesting thing that hockey does. And the Lightning are on it, so they don't play until Thursday. On Thursday, they play the Jets at home, a team they lost to not too long ago, a team that is 15-1 right now, playing some fantastic hockey. And then on Saturday, they play Devils at home. Big homestand for the Lightning. Got to come away with some points. Got to come away with some wins. Devils are 11-6-2, another really good team. And then next Tuesday, we'll be filming, so we won't even predict that.
They'll lose.
Yeah, next Tuesday we'll probably be filming that day, so they'll lose. So Devils and Jets at home. I'll tell you that the Lightning are going to split those 2 games.
Yeah, I think that's pretty standard.
Our old friend, Andre
Palat, yeah. I don't know if the Devils have been starting off hot this year. I don't think they're that amazing, so I think that should be a win, but I don't know about the Jets, man. They seem to be unbeatable.
The Lightning have already beaten the Devils.
Yeah.
Honestly, give me the Lightning beating the Jets and losing to the Devils. I think the Lightning are going to come out with something to prove in that game.
And I'll take the other way around.
All right. And I'll take Anthony Sorelli to get on the board because I asked him to.
And Nikita Kucherov. No. Nick Paul.
Kuch is so good we can't even pick him in our goal game.
Yeah, you really can't.
He's so good. So that's your only one Lightning game, pretty brief. And, we got a bunch of Bucs. So that's the end of the video, guys. Episode 63. Thank you guys for watching. If you're on YouTube, like the video, subscribe. Comment down below your favorite superstitious memory for something you've done for your favorite sports team. On Spotify, hit the 5 stars, hit the follow button. Follow us. There we go. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We're posting a bunch of content on that, so check it out. Thank you guys for watching, and have a beautiful and blessed night.